proud of it. And this year I'm off to a rough start. I'm a mere 6-6.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, that's embarrassing. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, yeah, because you're 7-5.
No, you didn't say that. You just said you were looking up at me in the standings.
Which?
And I didn't correct you because I just figured you meant metaphorically you were looking up at me in the standings.
I'm
also 6-6. I never said otherwise.
Also 6-6.
I'm also 6-6.
Also
I'm not
6-6.
making excuses. I'm not saying two horrific beats for me at 8-4. I'm 6-6. I had the Bengals plus 7.5. They got dog walked Monday night. It happens. Don't worry about it.
It's a bad pick.
That's is your correction of your own misinformation? Because I said
That's
nothing.
Correct.
I just let it sit there.
There was a lot of bad info percolating.
Oh, this guy,
permeating.
point thumbs, not fingers, Parco. My picks are public. You could have fact-checked it. Instead, you're putting so much on poor Troy's plate.
Troy, we got to do better.
Yeah, you got to do better. Let's go. You're also 1-3 in frenemies.
I think we're tied.
Okay.
Let's talk Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, this is a tough game for you. He's facing off against the Prince, the battle of Nick Wright. Last week, Chiefs offense looked like the old Chiefs. They got Xavier Worthy back, and everything was fixed. Also, was a little bit to do with the Ravens' defense. Patrick Mahomes, though, weighed in on what they need to do to keep the edge going offensively.
Trying to find ways to execute, especially earlier in football games, to build leads. I mean, like I've always said, when you build a lead with Spags calling the defense, it really unleashes him to really go out there. And so we'll continue to work at the little things fundamentally and try to all be on the same page so that we can execute it at a higher level early and then keep that momentum through the rest of the game.
All right, Nick, do you need to see another monster game from your guy Mahomes?
No, I don't need it, and I don't actually anticipate that we're going to get it at least early. I think the Chiefs are going to have one early goal in this game, which is not let the Jags defense turn them over, because that's what the Jags have feasted on this year. We've talked about it.
13 takeaways, right?
13 takeaways through 4 games after 9 last season. I mean, both of those stats are bananas. The fact that this year they're averaging more than 3 a game, and last year they averaged a half a turnover forced a game.
That's an improvement.
And so I think the Chiefs will have likely a conservative-ish game plan early. Now, what I do think is if they have a lead in the second half, that's when I could see them saying, you know what, let's work even more on spreading them out and the downfield passing attack, because I do think they're going to need that the following week against Detroit. But this game, listen, everybody knows I like Trevor. I believe in Trevor theoretically. But this year, he has not been good. And unless Trevor comes out and is dealing, and it's like, oh, we're going to need to score 30 to win, I think the Chiefs will probably have let's see if we can just make sure the Jags have to consistently drive the length of the field. Can they do that? And so I would imagine, I don't think it's going to be a running game focused game plan, but short, quick passes, a lot like what we saw from the Chiefs offense last year. That's what I think is more likely in this game.
I don't know that you need to have a shootout and score 35 points or anything like that. But since the Chiefs have become really good defensively with Spagnuolo, when Patrick Mahomes plays well, they're basically undefeated. And I know I can parse like basically any Chiefs stat and make their record look really good. But if you just go like, hey, Pat, don't throw an interception going back to 2023. They are 20-1 in games where Mahomes throws 0 interceptions.
And the one loss was week 1 this year against the Chargers in Brazil.
When Worthy goes out on the third play of the game.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, can you have a league average passer rating, like 95 or above? 18-1 in that span, 15-9 when he's below it. Can you get league average offensive production? 23 points. If they score 23 points, they're literally undefeated. So I don't know that it's monster game, but from here on out, because I have no faith in the Chiefs running game, it's whether it's short passes or deep passes, it's all going to be predicated on Mahomes producing.
Oh, that part's definitively true. That this offense is going to have to run, through him almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And you had yesterday a stat that I was unaware of in suitcase stats. Pack stats. I forget. Okay. My bad.
Never leave home without your stats.
And it was that the Chiefs are averaging 28 a game in
27.6 in the last 5 that Worthy played. The Steelers game last year, the 3 playoff games last year, and then
Baltimore. So what I do think, and this is, I think people underrated how ravaged by injury the Chiefs' skill positions were last season. And then because this year, we knew going into the year Rice was suspended. That was kind of baked in. And then when Xavier goes out instantly, it almost felt like, oh, we're going to run the same excuses script of he doesn't have the weapons. When, to your point, the reason I think the Worthy numbers are noteworthy is for a rookie receiver, I don't think you really are a number 1 receiver until the tail end of the year.
Right.
And so another way to look at it is Mahomes, as long as he has a number 1 receiver, they're scoring nearly 30 a game. It's also why I think that in a few weeks, when Rashee Rice takes the Juju role, and Juju's been really reliable, but he runs at this point, I think, a 5.040. Like, I think the offense will be even better. But to me, the underlying, tell me if I'm right before we move on, sentiment of the question is, if they have a low-scoring performance, are we going to say, oh, that Ravens game was just about how bad the Ravens are, not so much about the Chiefs being back offensively? Because I won't think that, because I think all they needed was competent offensive line play, which they've gotten, and wide receivers, at least one who can just get open on his own.
No, I agree with you, and you brought it up, but just to put a point on it, we should be open to the possibility that Xavier Worthy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and what that would mean for the league, because we know that Rashee Rice is awesome, right? He had, 23 catches in the 2.5 games before he was out last year. If all of a sudden we're 2 weeks away from the Chiefs having 2 legit number 1 wide receivers, then the light show actually might be back.
Real quick, if Xavier's got to stay healthy, and we got to see what Rice looks like post-catastrophic knee injury.
Sure.
But if Xavier stays on the trajectory he's on, and Rice is in short order the player we saw him be for the final 8 games of his rookie year and the beginning of last year, and then all of a sudden your number 3 is Thornton and Kelsey is work in the middle, like you have a real dynamic core of pass catchers, which they have not had since 2021 was the last year they had dynamic pass catchers.
All right, let's talk Ravens and go to Baltimore here, where with Lamar Jackson out, we believe, although there's still a little bit of discussion that he could try to play. They're a 2.5-point underdog against the Texans. Ian Rappaport reporting, like I said, that he's trying to play despite not practicing with the hamstring injury. This is Mark Andrews on the possibility of going forward without Lamar Jackson. Take a listen.
That's a challenge. It's obviously, the type of player and leader that Lamar is and how much he means to us. The beautiful thing is that we got a lot of fighters in this group, and